You are listening to the Foamy Heads Podcast, where we discuss craft beer and anything else that accompanies a glass.
Chad, and he was immediate, and and he's always quick to respond.
Hyper responsive. He knows what he's talking about, and it's a joy to talk to him every time.
Yes,
it's awesome, and now he's got this whole establishment. It's fantastic.
I love that. It's you. The hard work has paid off for Chad.
Yes,
and to go from, we said this at the beginning when we weren't recording, obviously, but or when the mics weren't on, but to go from watching him brew beer to becoming back of the house, to becoming head brewer, just working his way up through the brewing process and back of the house, and then eventually to opening up his spot. The good news is we caught all of that story on this round.
Yes.
Right. But to see him go from brewing beer and being, head brewer to doing his own thing is just a really cool thing to see.
Yeah.
Because it shows the hard work paying off.
Dude, it's incredible to see it, and it's wild that we've been able to
be with him this whole time.
Yeah, it's like seeing everyone achieve their goals. It's really awesome.
Yeah.
But we've definitely got I want to hear more about that barbecue again with these drinks, because that was great conversation. I'm sorry that we missed out on that.
No, it's absolutely all right. So let's get back to the original. This is our Tennessee lager. So this is made with Tennessee barley, Tennessee corn, and then puff jasmine rice that's grown out in Arkansas. So we get a lot of our Tennessee stuff from Riverbend Malting Company out in North Carolina, and they work with local farmers here. And they only work in southern grown grain, so they have like certain blends that are like all Tennessee or all Virginia or whatever. And having been I've always been really interested in those cylindrical economies of, keeping everything as local as possible. There's a different terroir to the beer. That Tennessee barley is super grassy because it's so fresh when we get to it. That malted corn comes across through a real strong punch. There's like this real nice bright corn, little bit of corn sweetness character up front, and then it tapers off with the bitterness and the carbonation in it. You get into that nice grassy, Pilsner malt character.
Damn good.
And so this is our certifiable porch pounder. This is our crusher.
And this one was not here on soft opening weekend, right?
Correct. Yeah, it was still lager'in.
Yeah.
Lagers do be lager'in.
Lagers do be lager'in. Mitch is a big lager guy. I know he loves
that's
it.
That's a fun phrase.
Lagers be lager'in.
I always like to say that I like to do proper lagers lagered properly.
Yeah.
Lagered proper. Oh, man.
Yeah. So there's no Russian, no shortcuts.
Hell yeah.
It takes time. And sometimes when you're like, man, we really need to open because we need money. It's like, okay, so we can start with, if we've got 4 beers, we can start with that. Like this one, it just needed a couple more weeks to finish up. And
it paid off because it's super tasty, and I hate that when somebody will walk in and they'll see something like this and they'll be like, oh, that's the basic beer. That's what that, like, I feel like styles like this and beers like this don't get the attention that they deserve.
Honestly, they're getting a lot more these days.
Oh, good.
This your light yellow beer flavored beer is going to be a real big seller as a brewery.
Good.
And I think a lot of people are kind of understand like the beauty in a beer that's so clean and crisp and clear, and there's nothing to hide behind.
Right.
Any mistakes or anything like that, like you can't hide behind them. It's like there's not much there. It's as simple as beer gets, and like I think it might have been during the first take, but I'm talking about this in the next beer we'll drink classic. Like one of the approaches is like we want to create quality through simplicity, and Mike does the same thing with his barbecue. It's mostly just salt and pepper, like his for the bark on the brisket.
So good. Yeah.
Just like, a little bit of some salt and pepper, 1 or 2 other things. I don't remember everything.
He does what he does.
Well,
right?
I will say if you ever want to know, just ask him. Mike is an open book, and you'll learn more about barbecue than you ever thought you wanted to know.
Yes.
But then there's like the ribs again. It's like salt, pepper, maybe a little bit of Lowry's or whatever it is. Like however he does it. You know, his Memphis dry rub is phenomenal. But
That's awesome. That's amazing.
It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't. You know, there is a place in the industry for that. Like how much weird shit can we put in a beer? Kind of beers, and I think the people that do them well, like you know, it's surprising. It's like how the hell did they balance that? Like I'm interested. Like this is cool. This is some mad scientist shit. You know.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the thing that I lean on. I like brewing classic styles, and I like to make something good that's simple because I don't think beer has to be complicated to be good. Just like food doesn't have to be complicated to be good. It just has to be made well.
Yeah, that is so good. It's also anyone trying to get into craft beer from a light beer stance. That is that introductory angle. That is fantastic.
Gateway beer.
Yeah, gateway beer.
I love the people being able, like the gateway people trying to get into craft beer, mixing with the people that have had the face peeler IPAs and the big boy barley wine and stuff. They're kind of converging. Like they're kind of coming back to, I want a classic. I want an original. I want, I want something that's easier to drink.
Yeah, definitely.
I love watching that kind of come together.
The market is kind of moving in that direction too. Especially, you see people leaning on lower ABV beers or NA options and stuff, which we actually have a whole line of NA options with these. We have these like handmade sodas that we make in house. We make them right in front of you, actually.
Nice.
The house-made.
So, yeah. We lean on that pun a lot.
It's great. It's a great one. Easy to do. Got to take the shot.
If you look on the Kansas signature, the description of it is just house smoked malt.
Hell yeah.
But that's a big part of craft beverage industry right now too is NA stuff, whether it's NA beer or like things like Maypop, which I love. I love the Maypop guys, and they make a high quality
solid
product. Yeah. And so we I make a pretty mean sparkling mineral water. And when we hired our tapping manager, Jason Connolly, we were kind of talking to him about, this is how food is going to be. This is what the beer program is going to be. And I was like, I'm going to make this sparkling mineral water. I'll make I want to have a sparkling lemonade on tap. We'll probably do some I'll probably make some sodas, put those on tap, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, I have an idea. So just plan on making the soda water, plan on making your hop water, but let me work some things out. And he came back with this whole syrups and juices program. To make if you guys when you guys grab some food today, get a lemonade, get the lemonade he came up with, the sparkling lemonade. Because I was like, I want a fucking sparkling lemonade. I like a well-made sparkling lemonade and barbecue go well together. Yes. I love it. I love lemonade anyway. And then we can hand make you a shandy at the same time.
Nice. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And the lemon, I have a lemonade with lunch every day here. Even the other, yesterday, one of the bartenders was like, "You really like a lemonade?" I was like, "Hell yeah, it's good." It's not too tart. It's got all that lemon flavor to it. It's just the right amount of sweetness to it. And then he came up with some other, he went back to old 1900 soda jerk recipes and stuff.
Dude, that's awesome.
And yeah. So it's been really cool, but it's also it's a built-in NA program. And it's made specifically to be a thing that is good without having alcohol in it, as opposed to being here's some margarita mixed without tequila in it. Here's your non-alcoholic margarita or whatever. Yeah. It's really well thought out and really well curated. Awesome.
Dude,
and once we get our liquor license, that whole juice and
that could move naturally into the alcohol option too, right?
That juice and syrup program will. We've already got a system worked down for doing juices and syrups, and now we can have those fresh juices and syrups when we make cocktails as well.
I love it. So, and I'm enjoying the little flair on the menu as well for when we had the premium and then the reserve Westy.
Yeah,
it's
so that was actually a technical issue because when we bought that board and all the letters that came with it, there were only so many of those smaller letters.
What?
And look at the board now.
It is the one thing I cannot find online to buy.
Really?
Is any more of those that you can find the big letters?
Yeah.
What?
But I can't find any of those 3/4 inch quartet magnetic letters. Nobody has them. There was this one really shady looking website that claimed they had them, and I was like, well, let's see. And then they never sent it, but they never charged my credit card. So I was like, well, I guess if someone steals the credit card number later, we know who it is.
True.
But
Hey,
but yeah, I can't find them anywhere. So I had to like get creative with how I was naming things.
Yeah, that works.
But you had enough letters for Yabara.
Well, those are the big letters, though.
Oh, those are the big
letters. I can buy as many of the
It's
big
the
letters
little
as I
letters
want.
that he can't get anymore.
I see it now.
Also, there's not a lot of we're not using a lot of big Y's. That Yabara chocolate soda is wild. It's so good.
Nuts. What is that?
It's a chocolate soda. It's a chocolate soda. So
It's a
chocolate soda. It's made. It's got oat milk. So there's no dairy in it.
Okay.
But it's like a chocolate syrup that Jason makes, and then there's oat milk and stuff in it, and we just top it off with soda water, and then it gets topped off with there's his orange spice syrup goes in there.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So
and it works?
Chocolate
Like
syrup,
orange
orange
spice
spice syrup, and then top it off with the soda water, and then there's an oat milk foam that goes on top of it, and then Jason when he peels oranges and dehydrates the peels and then grinds them up into a powder, and then so there's a little bit of
So it's like a
orange peel
sprinkle on
powder
top
right
of
on
it.
top.
That's awesome.
And
That's
like,
pinkies
so-
up right there.
Dude, like
Yeah.
the aroma of that
Yeah.
fresh
Smells
orange
good.
peel, and then
Holy
like the
crap.
vanilla and the oat milk foam.
That's
And it's like it's super, super refreshing. The best thing I can, and not a lot of people know what this is, but the best thing I can compare it to is like, do you guys know what an egg cream is?
Egg cream? No.
It's a drink. From my understanding, it was very popular like in places like Baltimore, kind of like that Midwest sort of East Coast regional kind of drink. It is a drink that contains no eggs or no cream. I mean, it used to a long time ago, but it's basically just like it's just like it's a soda with like flavorings like chocolate or vanilla or whatever. So that's the closest thing that I could like compare it to. But it's its own thing, and it's super refreshing. Like one of my favorite things is like the first time someone ever ordered, like you convince someone to order it, and they do, and the first time I like to watch their face because everyone goes.
Like they're kind of surprised, like, oh, okay.
They're like
Maybe
they're curious. They taste it, and then they're like, huh. Oh, okay. Yeah.
All that nice hits them. They're like, whoa.
You do the awkward
Yeah.
just watching them.
No, but it's
fantastic.
it is super. It's like surprisingly refreshing.
I would not have expected that to work.
I guess it does.
The new executive director of the Brewers Guild, Matt, was in here one day, and he was in here he came by for a soft open and then for the grand open because he's a great guy and he does a good job supporting all the breweries around Tennessee, and he ordered one of those, and I was chatting with him a little bit, then he's like, yeah, I was thinking about one of those sodas. I was like, you gotta get the chocolate soda. He's like, I'm kind of looking at that. I was like, yeah, just do it. Just get
the
it.
chocolate soda.
And so he went up to order it. And I went around, was collecting some glasses, talking to some people and stuff. And I was like, I'm going to check back in a couple minutes to see how it is. Went back like a minute or two later to be like, so how's that treating you? And he was literally like trying to jam his straw down to the, below the rest of the ice so he'd get the last little bit. Like,
that's awesome.
Like he just slammed it. And he was
It worked,
he was
right?
Like, he was like, dude, I was not expecting this. It was so good. And he was like, I drank that real fast. I was like, yeah, dude.
It was gone in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
he
it
came
was
back
gone
and
in less than 2 minutes. And he's trying to get it was funny.
That's incredible, dude.
Yeah. So it's a real cool part of the brand as well. Like I think as a brewery, it's hard to just you can't just have a tap room. You got to lean into what. And again, like we're not trying to have just a brewery. Like we want to be a spot, so we want to have things that people want. So something fun instead of just having like. I mean, we have an NA beer on tap. We'll keep an NA beer on tap instead of having just like cans of NA beer or cans of bottles of sparkling water or whatever. It's like no, we're making all this stuff. We're making it in front of you, and it's gonna be fun and it's gonna be good. And you're gonna enjoy it. And we're making this for you specifically. Like made to order. So like NA stuff is a big part of the market right now. Like you can't depend on, and just like we're gonna get a liquor license too. Like you can't. You gotta have you gotta have things that keep people there. You gotta have what people want, and if you want to be a cool spot that people like want to hang out in, you gotta have stuff that everybody wants. Yeah, and we're happy to do it because it's like it's like, I kind of view my thing as like beverage producer more than brewer at this point.
Yeah.
Although the foundation is brewing.
Yeah.
Dude, with all the syrups that you're talking about, very craft forward. And once you get that liquor license and those cocktails, that's gonna change the game.
It's gonna be wild. Yeah, we're gonna have like a real small curated selection of that. Like, it's not gonna be a big part of it's that accoutrement that you need.
Yeah, definitely.
You have people that are like, well, 3 people in this group want to go get beers, and 2 of them don't or can't drink beer, or maybe they don't drink at all. It's like, well, where there's now more and more, like, there's a lot of places that are catching up. And we're not, it's not catching up, like adjusting to the market.
They don't want to have to be the afterthought. Like, they don't want to have to be like the third wheel in the group that's like, oh, well, they're going to a brewery. It's like, oh, well, maybe they'll have something for me. And you don't want the group to have to make a sacrifice for the one person that doesn't drink.
Well,
you want to bring them in, and so that you guys are all together. And something like this place, it's like the NA portion of your menu is not kind of like an add-on. It's not an afterthought. It's part of the brewery.
It's very much part of the brand.
Yeah.
And it goes along with all the ethos that we were talking about of this as well earlier. It's like, it's simple. We utilize, Jason does a good job utilizing all parts of the fruit and stuff that, through all the, dehydrating peels and things like that. He's super creative. And so it all goes, but it's all simple. Like, I think the most complicated one is, raspberry, pineapple, lemon, and lime. That's like the most. That's the most complicated combo that we have on there right now. So it's like simple flavors go together well, dialed in to be a quality product that people are going to enjoy.
Yeah.
Let's dig into this pub ale.
So
this is your style right here.
We're drinking classic. This is probably going to be our flagship beer. It's been our highest seller. There was one day that we sold an entire half barrel of this in a day.
That's nuts, by the way.
It's wild, but I love to see it. But this is also like, this is the style of beer. Like, English beers are my wheelhouse hard.
Okay.
Very much hard my wheelhouse. The first beers that I really got me into beer were English style beers, especially like Fuller's ESB, which this is basically an ESB, but in this market, if you call it an ESB, people see the word bitter and they're like, I don't want a bitter beer.
That's always been my thing when I drink ESBs, and I go, these aren't bitter. Like,
no, well, because bitters means something different in the UK than it means
right.
Here.
Yep.
So over the last 11, 12 years that I've been in the industry, I've played around with different names to make sure the style makes sense as far as the name goes. Make sure that our guests understand what they're getting. And like calling it a pub beer is,
that was calculated.
Is really like no.
You need to call it a pub ale in American
pub ale
audience,
or a pub beer or whatever. Calling it that is something where it's like you feel right about what you're saying, and then your guests understand exactly what they're going to get.
Yep.
And sometimes there's that disconnect in brewing in the beer industry, because it's like, you do have a lot of, like, especially old heads, like hardcore, like very much like, well, it's technically this and that's what we're going to call it. And then it's like, well, why do it's a perfect example of this. Why doesn't it sell? It's like, well, because you're right. That's the style that it is. But like, people don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know what that means. And I think Saison's another one.
Yeah.
Especially in this market where I think that's been tainted, where it's like a lot of people's first introduction to a Saison is like their beer nerd friend was like, oh man, this Tank 7 is like, oh, this is a sick Saison.
That was me to Richard.
Yeah, and then you try it and it's like no, this is funky. Like, it's more on that farmhouse that farmhouse level.
Yep.
Which I think everyone's first Saison should be Saison DuPont, because it is the best Saison that's ever been brewed.
Yes.
It's my gold standard for Saison.
After talking to you, I found some had it. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
it's for me, it's a gold standard to Saison. But you have these things where people's understanding of what a beer style is influenced by their experience, and sometimes you got to understand, like, when people see Saison, they remember that really, or they had a friend that homebrewed and made a terrible one, and they're just like, oh, I don't know, that style is weird, But you go, somewhere like Blackberry Farm, who, like, their flagship beer was a Saison. They were like the only people that I've seen be able to do that, and I love that for them. And they made a really, really good one. But you have to understand what people how people perceive a beer style name.
Yes.
I feel like pub ale, pub beer, however you're gonna say it establishes a confidence in the order, and that understanding is just transparent at that point. Yeah, whether it has the word bitter or not, Americans just don't gravitate towards that word.
Yeah,
bitter.
and Nashville is like, you know, I mean, the beer culture has changed here in the last as long as I've been in it, but it's still like pretty young, and I think the beer industry has changed so much too that it's like, you know, people that are as the beer industry gets older here, here in Tennessee, the beer industry in general is changing a lot. So it's like, it's hard to like, I mean, and you can do your best to educate people like, oh, well, it's not that bitter, but if they've seen it and made a decision already, you know, then you can't move it.
Yeah. True.
We want people to go like, this is the perfect beer to have with our ribs.
Man, I believe
the biscuity and caramely character, a little bit of caramely character in there goes perfectly with the Memphis dry rub that Mike does, and that like, and it cuts it like the sweetness complements the sweetness of the fattiness of parts of the ribs and stuff, and then there's just enough bitterness in it that it'll cut through. It'll help cut through some of that fat and stuff. So like,
I need barbecue.
Did you guys watch I Think You Should Leave at all?
I've heard really good things about it, but I've never seen it.
I would sloppy steak those ribs with this beer.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds
a good thing.
I was going to say it sounds like it's up my alley.
Yeah. So we've been through the entire core lineup of Stoke Haus. Every single one of them is amazing, and I think I said this. I can't remember if I said this in the beginning or once we had finally started picking up on the mics, but I'm trying to figure out every single scenario in which I would have every single one of these beers. So my goal once we tear down here is go get some barbecue. I want to take Chad's recommendation because I want to do the classic with ribs. I want to do some of the original with some of the brisket. Whatever is being smoked out there right now, I want to get. Yeah. And I want to try to pair it because like I feel like one, he's gonna be right. Like Chad just knows what beers go with his food, you know,
he's always been
food
right.
goes with his beer. Yeah. But at the same time, like I like the experience of pairing beers with situational things. Yeah. So like where would I drink the premium? Like for me, the New England hazy would be like a Saturday afternoon if I'm either hanging out with homies or if I'm just hanging around the house. I would drink a premium. I was doing that yesterday. I was watching TV and just drinking premium. Like I think that night when I was there at Southampton, I bought like 6-packs on 6-packs. I was just walking out with.
Yeah, you were. When I was,
I think Chad held the door for me.
I did. Actually. I saw you coming out because you were like holding the bottoms of them with your hands. They were stacked on each other. And I wasn't sure if it was your chin or the beer that was holding the top.
I don't know.
But I saw you coming out. I was like, I gotta get this.
You gotta get the door. And, but I was picking up some of them for Mitch too because I knew he wasn't there that night.
Well, and that's what you said. You're like, I had to get some for Mitch. Couldn't be here. But it's funny is when I was telling Jason and Mike that you guys are going to be here, and Mike knows who you guys are too. But it was just like, yeah, the Foamy Heads guy is going to be here. You remember the guy that was walking out of the door like this?
Nice.
6-pack?
Nice.
I was like, that's one of them. And they're like, oh, okay.
That needs to be a sticker, and it can be anyone's. Like, I just like the idea.
I mean, maybe
one day, just a head with like a bunch of beers.
Maybe one day we'll maybe one day we'll recreate it.
That would be so much fun to do. Yeah,
that'd be fun.
One final question for you because I know we want to be respectful of your time also, but we also want to kind of hang out and have a good time here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's this is a loaded question. I think I asked this at tenfold, but like, what's next for Stoke Haus? Because you're kind of in startup still, right? It's just establishing your brand.
Second
and stuff
full
like
week
that.
Open.
Yeah, like you guys are brand new.
Yep.
So like, is the focus right now, focusing on core and food, or like, are you planning? Are there collaborations in the works at some point in time? Or are we still early? Like, what's in your head right now?
There's been there's no collaborations scheduled, but there's definitely going to be some down the line. One that we've been talking about, and with the guys over at Honey Tree is we want to smoke some honey for them and make a smoked mead.
Yeah,
and then take some of that smoked mead and blend it. I'll probably do like an English brown or something. So make a braggot out of the smoked mead. Yeah. So then we'll have a smoked mead and then like a smoked braggot at the same time.
Amazing. Yeah.
So that's something that we've been talking. obviously we've been really busy getting up, but those guys are never not busy.
Right.
Although they are two of my they're Ross and Drew are like the shiniest, happiest people I've ever met in my life, and I love them to death, and I can't wait to work with them. I've done some work with them in the past, and I always love doing it, and they're literally right around the corner. And Drew was actually so helpful to us in the beginning when we were we had one of our first in-person meetings about like business plan stuff and trying to figure out like menu, like just like kind of a basic menu design or whatever. And we met at Honey Tree, and Drew was there, and we're like, man, like trust Drew, like we trust Drew's opinion, and we know he'll keep quiet. We're like, hey Drew, can you look at something for us real quick? And it was
bring
just
him
like
into the fold.
it was just kind of
yeah.
It was just kind of like this kind of menu. Like we're working on some menu and logo designs. It's like just real basic before we started working with our graphic designer on the actual like brand, the whole branding. And we're like, hey, you got a second? Can you look at this for us? And he was just like, I think this is cool. I think you do this. Are you guys doing something? We're like, yeah. Then he's like, okay, cool. So what you want to do? How are you set up? Are you just a straight LLC? Are you LLC partnership? Okay, so here's what you want to do. Here's a number. Here's a number for a CPA. Here's a number for a banker.
Oh, good for him, man.
Like
Whoa,
he was
great.
just like, yeah, he just like, I mean, and this was like, it was so early on. I was like, I don't even need to like, I don't need a banker yet. Like, I don't need a CPA yet, you know?
You nod your head and say thank you.
Yeah, I was like,
because you're probably going to need it at some point.
Yeah, exactly. Like you file it away, you know, you save it and file it away for when you need to use it. But he was right away. He was just like, and he was like, listen, most people, I'm going to tell them to not fucking do it. But he's like, I know you guys, you two together, like
fucking do it.
Like, yeah. Like, if I didn't think you guys couldn't do it, I would tell you to stop right now.
Yeah.
You know, he was just so
excited. That's a vote of
Yes.
confidence.
Yes.
Yeah. I love
that. That was one of the moments too, because it was like, it was early enough on, but late enough into it that I was like having one of those moments, you know, but for a couple of weeks I was like, is this the right move? Like, like I've got a pretty good gig, you know, and like, is this really what we want to do? And when, Drew saying that really like, it kind of took me out of that, like little bit of funk. I mean, there's always going to be there always have been, and there always will be those moments of doubt, as we're going along.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of the first big ones that I was having. And like, I was kind of like, just like pushing it back in my head and kind of dealing with it on my own, you know, just being like, you might feel different in a couple of days, but it'd been like a couple of weeks at that point. And it really like, I was like, shit, dude, like this dude that I know and love and respect straight up was like, I actually think in this market, you guys can do it.
Whoa.
So that was cool.
To the heart.
That was
right
cool
there.
for
us.
us. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. That was cool for us. So stuff like that's down the line. Focusing, yes, right now on making sure we have enough of the cores, you know, getting brewing, getting the system set up, getting everything brewed for open, and then being like, okay, now I also have to like run a business and I have to do numbers and I have to do all these other things and figure out how like, I know how the brewery works. Like where the hell am I setting up the keg washer when I need to wash kegs? Like how are things moving around? Where am I storing stuff? Like there's all these logistical things that we've been ironing out, and through that trying to get core beers back into tanks to make sure we don't run out because they're the cores.
You can't not have beer.
Yeah.
When you open the doors,
we do have a fest beer. We do have a fest beer lager in right now. And honestly, I was gonna just to like the throwback for that first 10-foot one. I was gonna go in there and pour some off of a tank for us.
I remember that. Yes.
I think it was the barley one I pulled off the tank for you guys.
I'm trying to think. It
might have been a fest beer though too, because it was getting to that season.
I want to say it was a Hell's Lager.
It might have been. Yeah.
I did not brew a Hellas over there.
Okay.
Shit. It may have been something. Well,
whatever. Was it a Goza?
Maybe it was. No. I would have remembered that.
All right.
Noza.
Sorry. Noza. No.
There's the Dad base brewery. That's the Dad brewery base right there.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. We're super excited for you.
Yeah.
We really are. I'm glad Stoke Haus is here in Nashville, and kudos to you, man, for jumping out on your own.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
With the homies. Give the socials out real quick.
Well, first I want to say I didn't jump out on this on my own. Like
having people.
We had not only is it, you know, it's me and Mike and I started it. We got so much help from so many people, including Uncle Mike, who I mentioned earlier. Another shout out to Uncle Mike. He's a G. And then so many of our friends and people in the industry. anyone that we asked questions to was willing to sit down with us.
That's awesome.
Talked about Drew, talked about sitting down with Grayson early on. There's a point that we had some questions about certain business stuff, and Mike was like, Mike used to work at Southern Grist, and Jared was like, yeah, like whenever, like let's set up a time. And so we sat down with him, and he was more than happy to like sit down with us and take the time to answer our questions and make sure that like we were kind of looking at it, because we wanted to make sure that we're looking at certain things correctly and going into it, not just like head first, but like feet first at least. Joel and Spencer over at Brewery, like Joel let us do a couple of food pop-ups for a couple of bottle releases before we opened or anything, just to help us get our name out there and everything. Spencer has always been someone that if you have any kind of, especially a technical question or something, he's the first person you call, because he's going to be super helpful, and he's going to answer it, and he's going to answer it just very clearly and concisely, which is what I need. And then when we were first getting our keg washer set up, there are a couple pieces that I think the people we bought it from were bypassing, and I wanted to make sure I was doing it correctly. So we took some pictures of it, sent it over to Adler over at Smith & Muntz, because it's a Premier keg washer, and he used to install Premier systems before that was his job before they opened Smith & Muntz. And we were like, hey, can we ask you some questions about this keg washer? And he was like, yeah, we're doing a canning run right now, so I'll get to you guys as soon as I can. But so I hope it's not like an emergency. And we're like, no, we're literally getting it set up for the first time. Like if I don't wash kegs today, I don't care. I just want to make sure I'm not going to break anything, And so we sent him some pictures and like the particular questions we're having, like, and it was like not even 2 minutes later, it was just like, boom, like, just like a paragraph of like, all these technical things that we needed to know, and made me feel like, okay, I'm not going to blow this thing up. I think I've got it set up correctly or whatever, So like that. So it wasn't like, Mike and I own the place, but we didn't do this on our own. We're not out here on our own. And like, our friends in the industry, and our connections in the industry is one of the reasons I think we were super, super successful with this, and the willingness of all these wonderful people to just like, it was wild to me to see like so many people got excited for us, and they're like, I want you guys to be successful. I want you all to be able to do it. Like we love you guys. Like, Mike's never met a stranger in his life. I've been in the industry long enough that like, that a lot of people know me, and like I'm on the guild board and everything. So like, but we make friends. We make friends easily. And there's a lot of great people in the industry, so it's like not a hard thing to do. And, even like Eric Latham, who owns Johnson City Brewing. I don't know if you guys ever talked to him before.
Haven't yet.
Oh, dude, you guys got to get him on here. That dude,
that'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
He's one of the coolest sons of a gun that I've ever met. He's done some really cool stuff, and had and he used to be a journalist, so he knows how to talk and write, and tell stories, and he's a pretty good storyteller and everything. But he was even really big on like just like checking in and seeing where we're at. Like we'd run into a festival and be like, hey, how's everything going? Like, where are you guys at? And kind of telling us about like how his business is structured. Because there was one time I let him store some kegs at Tenfold, because he was like coming in for something, had to store some kegs there because he was delivering them somewhere else the next day, because he was getting in late, because he's coming from Johnson City, getting in late, spending the night. I was like, yeah, you can throw some kegs in here. The next day he came to pick them up, and Mike and I had been looking at like some business structure stuff, and we were like, hey man, so real quick while I have you. And he was like, oh man, he was just like a wealth of he's just like he had shit to do, and he had to eventually drive back to Johnson City that day. He had all these stops to make, but he took like a good 20-25 minutes, and he's like, well, this is how we have it set up, and this is what we've done. If you guys get to this point, look at blah 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 blah. He's always been a homie. He's always been a great dude too. But like all that to say, like we definitely did not do this on our own. If it wasn't for the knowledge and support and the love of all of our homies in the industry.
Everybody lifted each other up.
Yeah, we wouldn't have been able to do this.
Yeah.
And everyone seemed so ready. They were like, we want to help you because we want to see you guys like knock this out of the park, because we know it's going to be a place that's going to be sick and like that we want to come to. And so, it wasn't, I don't want to say, like, again, Mike and I own it. We started it, but we didn't do this on our own. I mean, having Jason as our taproom manager, he's opened up a lot of he's been opening up a lot of local bars here, like Avo and Rudy's. He's basically, if you have ever drank beer in East Nashville, Jason has probably either served you or been having one right next to you.
Nice.
He used to be the general manager over at Tennessee Brew Works back in the day. So he comes from a wealth of knowledge too, and he came in here and I was like straight up like, these are the things I don't know how to set up for. Here are the administrative things I need help setting up with. And he's like, I already have spreadsheets on that. We're good. Wild. I'll show you how to use them eventually. I was like, cool. He's like, when you have time, I'll show you how to like use them and do all this stuff. And it's like, yeah.
But that gives you a vote of confidence. Like right now, I know he's got it. Yeah. I can focus on what I need to.
Well, he also came out of retirement, out of general managing retirement to come. Like, I reached out to him at one point just to see if I was like, hey, I know you're out of the industry. This is actually one of my favorite, and I won't like if we need to wrap this up. Like I won't go like that much longer. But this is like my favorite Stoke Haus lore right now story, and Jason's heard me tell it to like 1,000 people. But so we had a fella I used to work with, kind of lined up to be our taproom manager, and we're really excited about it. And he had him and his wife, fiance, whatever, like him and his partner. They were like, hey, we've got some. It ended up like they both had, as we are at this age, you start having elderly relatives and stuff that are sometimes you got to focus a little more of your time on. And he was like, hey man, like I'm going to probably be like traveling a lot, and like I don't want to commit to this and not be able to give give it everything that it needs. And I was like, that's cool.
Good on him for recognizing that.
No worries. Oh, dude, no. He was and is and continues to be a great fellow. He's still a friend, still a great friend. Like, love him a lot. He was here for like one of our soft opens. He brought a whole crew too.
Nice. Man, hell yeah,
which is great. But it's like life do happen, like no worries, man. And so Mike and I had to go back to the drawing board, and we were like thinking about some people that we could talk to. And I was like, well, I know he's out of the biz. He's been out of the biz, but let me reach out to Jason and just like, maybe he knows somebody that we can talk to, and maybe I can convince him. You know? So, shot Jason a text one night and was just like, hey man, like we're looking like, I know you've been out, like, I know you're probably not interested, but we're looking for a taproom manager, but mostly like, I'm just wondering if you have some people you could recommend that maybe we reach out to and start some conversations with. And he was like, yeah, dude, my jamming days are done. But I do know a lot of people, and I know a few that actually might fit with you guys. Let me come down there one day. We'll hang out for a little bit. I just want you guys to tell me about what you're doing, get a feel for the place. Because I want to make sure that I recommend like the right person.
The right guy.
Yeah.
It's like sick. Cool. We were doing build out. This place was a mess. Like, it was like, we didn't have much to do on like, a Saturday other than like, take things apart and put them back together, and then the way we wanted them, and then drink some beers. So, so Jason came down, and we hung out and drank a couple beers and kind of went over like what the brand was, like a lot of stuff that we talked to you guys about earlier. Yeah. And he was like, all right, cool. He's like, yeah, I know a couple people that I think would be really good fits. And it was about a week or two before we were going to put our notices in at Tenfold. And he was like, okay. He's like, I'll be coy about it because I don't want to like blow you guys' stuff up, but I'll reach out to some people. If there's interest, I'll let you know, and then we'll figure out about like when the best time to exchange contact information and stuff is. I was like, cool, awesome, man. Like, we got a lot to do. It's not like, we know we'll find somebody that's gonna fit, but it was like sick, like a good resource, somebody that I really, really trust, somebody that's very, very good at hospitality and running a front of house. If he recommends someone to me, I know I can trust them.
Yeah.
Sick. A couple weeks later, I'm home. I think, it had been one of those days where we were straddling between both spots. Maybe it was like the next week or something. So it's like, knocking everything out at Tenfold that we need to, coming over here and doing whatever we need to with build out. Or
second full-time job over here.
Yeah, basically. And then, so I got home, and it was like maybe like 8:30 or whatever, but like, got home, took the boots off, got into some comfy clothes, grabbed a beer, like, okay, I'm going to sit down and watch a TV show and hope I don't fall asleep on the couch in the next hour or two. And I'm just going to relax for a little bit. I sat down, and almost immediately after I sat down, I get a text, and I was like, oh shit, it's Jason. Cool. Maybe we've made some progress.
Yeah.
And I go to open my phone, and like when you go to open your phone, and you just see like the first part of a text.
It's always ominous.
And this is my favorite part of the story. No, it wasn't even ominous.
Good.
I didn't say that word correctly, but
whatever.
We're just gonna.
I barely got through.
Yeah. We're just gonna keep rolling. Go to open, and all I see is. So hypothetically, and I was like, oh man, I got him? I think I got him.
Yeah.
I think I got him.
Yeah.
And it was like, so hypothetically, if I were interested in the taproom manager position, and I was just like, listen, we've had a couple good conversations with people, but hypothetically, you would still be the number one candidate for this. And he was like, well, he was like, well, if you had some good conversation, where about it? He was like trying to convince me, like, not to. I was like, no. Let's find a time to have you come back and like sit down. Let's we're if this is a thing, like let's have a formal conversation about it because like I'm 100% into it.
Right.
I think you would be great. And I found out later, like he's heard me tell the story a few times, and he told me later he was like, "But what you don't know is that I was pacing back and forth for a couple hours, just being like, well, do I? Maybe I think I want it. Like, just deciding if that was the text I was going to actually send or not. And I was like, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And so he came when he came down, and he came so correct about like we didn't really even have to ask any questions. He's like, these are the places this is what I've done. I mean, and I already I knew him from Tennessee Brew Works and stuff like that. It's like, this is all the stuff that I've done. These are the good things about me. These are the bad things about working with me, or for bartenders working for me, whatever. Here are the lessons I've learned. Here are some real world examples of these lessons I've learned. Okay, now let's go into the plan that I have for how the bar is. Yeah, and he even brought a tape measure. He was like, shit back there, just like figuring out where he would put things and stuff. And it was just like,
you knew you had the right guy.
Yeah, I was just like, I was like, man,
done.
this is
done and done.
Yeah, I've never come that correct in an interview.
Yeah.
And he had it all. He had it so well thought out, and he's organized. And as far as spreadsheets and stuff go, we were like, oh, my spreadsheet's probably better than yours. Just as kind of fun. But he's organized a lot in that same way. But he can talk to anybody. He's the friendliest guy you've ever met. Obviously the creative side as far as sodas and stuff, his knowledge on beer and beer history, and his want the same that ours is having all of our staff be trained up on beer. We're working on getting level 1 Cicerone certifications for all of our bartenders and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he was like, I've already got binders. I was like, okay.
Nice.
Cool.
Dude came prepared.
Yeah. No, he's the most
awesome.
He's the most prepared son of a gun I think I've
That's
ever
awesome.
my entire life. So we knew we're like this is our guy. Absolutely 100%. Sorry everybody else. But he's the dude. And then we were just like, cool, we're gonna let you put together a team. This is the vibe we want to set. We explained to him what we wanted, and we're like, we trust you to be able to make that happen. We're not going to sit here and unless something egregious happens, we're not going to sit here and try to, and it hasn't, and we don't expect it to. We're not going to sit here telling you how to run the fucking bar.
Right.
Neither of us, Mike runs the food, I run the brewery. Neither of us have time to run the fucking front of house. This is why
that's why he exists.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
This is why he exists, but this is also, he's the best person.
Yep.
Here to do that. He's the most qualified and best person.
Don't tell him how to do something. Then, right?
No.
Yeah. Exactly.
It would never be anything like that, because we know that his standards are as high as ours are. So that was a lot of fun. Just so hypothetically, is one of it's a phrase that's going to set in my head forever.
Yeah. So that's going to be a beer one day.
Yeah. I feel like hypothetical should be the name for one of the beers that you guys make. It's one word. It fits right in with it.
Yeah.
It could work really well.
It's not a bad idea, as long as someone else hasn't, copywritten it or whatever.
That's true. There's that also.
There's
so many weird names of beer nowadays, and I'm sure it's hard.
You can't. You don't know fish anymore.
Yeah, you don't know who has a copyright on whatever.
Yeah.
Good beers.
Uno momento.
There we go. We got more beers on the table now.
Yeah, we do.
All right.
Go full screen.
It's not
here.
even
there
11 o'clock.
No, 11 o'clock.
Let's get this coffee in us.
Yeah, right.
What do we got next, man? We've got 3 new beers on the table. I love it.
This is one. This was one that's very special to me and to the brand. Signature. It's a dark English ale.
Ooh.
I've brewed renditions of this at every brewery I've been at. It's the first recipe that, like, when I was homebrewing, I was like, I'm gonna get this recipe down because this is what I want to drink. So it is, like, I've always told people this is like my signature recipe, my signature beer.
Hell yeah.
So it's dark. It's got some of that biscuity and a little bit of that caramely and roasty kind of character to it. It doesn't sit really heavy because, again, we want beers that go well with the food. And we don't want a beer that's going to fill you up too hard. So it's really light for a dark beer. But the real special part about this is that there's a soft hand of smoked malt in there, but we actually do the malt smoking in house. So I take some of that Tennessee barley I was telling you guys about. Mike gets it on the smoker. You got to smoke malt really low, like you got to cold smoke it. So he'll get on going on that Tennessee hickory as well. Yeah. So it's you do get a nice smoke character. It's not overpowering. It kind of works to accentuate all the other nice qualities of the beer. But you also get this little tinge of the wood in there too, like a little woodiness from that fire. And
right on the nose, I could smell it though.
Yeah,
this was the first one that I had at the soft opening that night, and this one hit me just right, man.
Yeah.
I could drink this. It's so dark and it's so easy to drink.
Yeah, it's super light in body, which is nice, and especially because I tell people, like, when we're doing brisket, like, this is the beer to have with brisket.
Yeah,
and that brisket's going to be a lot heavier.
Yeah,
and really filling. So this just kind of fills in all those gaps there. And then you got the same hickory smoke that we do all the meat on. That's in here as well. So it's kind of cool. So this is very much our signature beer. I think this beer kind of defines us as our brand pretty well.
Yeah. You had walked away when Mitch and I kind of started a different conversation because you were going to re-up for us, and you mentioned something today that you also mentioned back during your Tenfold days. Is you're looking to brew beer that, and you alluded to it in a way here this morning, but you're not looking to get people in here to where they can have like 1 or 2 really, really heavy beers and that's it. You want beer that people can eat food with.
Yep.
You want beers that you can have it low enough ABV or flavorful enough to where they can have food, they can have 2 or 3 of them, enjoy their good time, and then they can get up and drive home.
Yeah.
Like that was your main contention point at Tenfold back in the days.
Don't need anything just hitting you hard right off bat.
Yeah. I mean, not that I haven't done it and will be doing
and
it.
Not that you won't do it.
And those bigger beers and heavier beers and stuff. Like I love me a fucking barley wine.
Yeah.
The guys at Main Street next door just gave us a barrel the other day.
Whoa.
So like, I already had a Baltic Porter in line.
That's
it
awesome.
Kind of
nice.
Locked and loaded for trying to get it in the tank the next couple of weeks. So
heck yeah,
we'll do that. So we're gonna do things like that,
but not building your core lineup on super heavy stuff to where you can't drive home.
Yeah, and I was saying earlier, I think you're going to be seeing a lot of brands defined by those things less and less. I think there's a lot of people that do those styles really well and very, very nice. Like some of the bigger beers that like Living Waters, for example.
Yeah.
It's like I'll go there and get an 8-ounce pour of like their Baltic Porter because they do a damn good job with it. You know what I mean? Like, but as you said, that's kind of like a maybe the last beer. Maybe you have 1 or 2 before, then that's the last one, or it's like a one and done thing.
Yeah.
And we want people to be able to sit here, hang out, enjoy themselves, and not like drink a beer and be like, oh, shit, I gotta get home. Like, it's like, no, like part of the reasons we did everything we did with this spot is because we wanted to make a really cool, comfortable, like rad spot in East Nashville. It just happens to have a brewery in it. We happen to have, the barbecue program, but like the main goal of it with me and Mike, and the one thing that when we first started talking about doing this, the one thing, even before we knew it, maybe before we decided we were going to take this spot over, like it was like we want to make a really cool spot that people want to hang out in and people feel comfortable like hanging out in. And if you're getting schnookered too quick, you don't get to experience the whole part of like, that kind of idea of like third space or whatever.
Right.
I am interested. That was going to be one of my questions is where did this idea come from? I mean, like sometimes I guess people would just wake up in the morning and be like, I want to do this or I want to learn to do this. But like something like this doesn't necessarily seem like it's an impulse decision. It could have a play in it, but I feel like something like this might be something you've been wanting to do for a while. But walk us through kind of that journey real quick on.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think anybody that works back of house in a brewery has an idea of what their ideal brewery would be. Every person I've worked with in the back of house of a brewery, there's always some kind of conversation, especially on the more monotonous days or the really long days, like that.
We could do this.
You got it. Yeah. Well, no, it's not like we could do this. It's like, you have a lot of weird conversations with people back at house when you're stuck with them back there, sometimes 12, 13 hours in a day or whatever. But there's always going to be that conversation of like, oh man, like, if I were to open a brewery, this would be what my core beers would look like, or like, this is like kind of how I would want to do it. Yeah. When I was at Black Abbey, Ben and I used to always talk about like what our ideal breweries would be. We're talking to any other brewers in town, hanging out with the homies or whatever, those kind of conversations just naturally come up in this industry because a lot of us are in it because we really we wanted to brew the beer we want to brew. Yeah. And sometimes the only way to do that is to kind of have not just have your own program but also have your own spot. So Mike and I were working at Tenfold together, and those conversations come up.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I liked about the conversations I had with him is the one thing that we always focused on when we were talking about it was like the vibe of the spot that we wanted. We didn't want it to be, there's some breweries that are like real, you go in there and it's like wild and you're like, how the hell, like, are those bartenders drunk or, whatever it is, or it's just like, or chaotic or whatever, There's some that are like stuffy, and then there's some that are really comfortable, and then there's others that are like, the brewery is part of it, but it's more run like a restaurant or whatever. Like Tenfold was definitely very much run like a restaurant, which is fine. That was the main draw of people coming in there. But there is a particular part of like brewery culture, and like there's a different feel of hanging out in a tap room at a brewery than like at a restaurant in a brewery.
True. Yeah.
And so like we had always talked about that. We were like, yeah, we want it to be comfortable. We want to feel like people feel like they can hang out and it not be like, it should be fun, but not wild, and like we were always eye to eye on that kind of thing. And that really resonated with me when we would talk about it. And then, there's also a lot of people you have this conversation with that you're like, man, I agree with them on a lot of things, but I don't think I could go into business with that person.
Yeah.
And Mike was one of the first people that, we'd known each other for years before we worked together, but we worked really well together and we saw eye to eye on things. And I was like, I actually like, this is somebody that I know I can trust. Like nice. if we were to start a business together, I know this is somebody that I can trust. And like, we definitely fill in the gaps. Like he's really good. Like I'm very much function over form person. He's got a little better eye for style, like I have a little better mind and attention for like numbers and things like that, so it's like, there's this like all these ways we were balancing each other out. And eventually, remember that blizzard, January 2024, I think it was, where everyone was like snowed in for like a week.
Yeah.
Were you in Chattanooga yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I think I was still in Goodlettsville.
Yeah. So was I,
yeah.
which is where I still live. So that like we were kind of snowed in for a week and we had been it just was all just talk at that point. But we had nothing to do. We were all snowed in, couldn't get into work. And I was like, I don't know. Do you know how to write a business plan? He was like, no. And I was like, okay. And then he found some like kind of like how to, so we started following. I was like, well, let's do it. Let's start a shared Google Drive. And like, we figured this is something we just do in our spare time and, might take a couple years to finish a year or two to finish the business plan or whatever. It wasn't like a main focus.
Yeah.
But we started working on it. Each of us would work on different sections of it and we just shared Google Drive so we could see what the other person did. Yep. We'd get together every once in a while when we were having beers after work and be like, okay, well, I think here, like maybe we do it like this, like, or, I think over here, like, or like, do you know what the hell we're supposed to put in this section? Because I don't understand any of these words,
Yeah.
But it picked up real quick. And Mike's wife, one of her uncles is very, very well grounded in business. And he actually lives in Singapore though, but he was taking time to set up Zoom calls with us when we would send him a copy of the business plan as it was. And like, hey, we have kind of some questions on this. And he would either email us back or like set up a Zoom call and just kind of be like, well, what I would do here is blah, 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 blah. So it was Uncle, his name is Mike too. So he's nice forever in Stoke Haus, in the Stoke Haus realm. He is Uncle Mike.
Uncle Mike. Shout out to Uncle Mike.
Yeah. Uncle Mike's a G, dude.
Love Uncle Mike.
So he was really helpful to us and kind of mentored us through parts of that and like keeping us grounded when we were like, being like, well, guys, maybe those numbers aren't quite like, whatever. But he was really, really helpful to us. I learned a lot from him just from the few conversations I was able to be a part of with him. And it just like, it was happening really quick. We were getting the business plan done. We were feeling good about things. Mm-hmm. The business plan was originally to do from the ground up. So I live up in that weird dip of Goodlettsville that's surrounded by Madison, up by Rivergate Mall. So we were like, yeah, well, Madison's underserved, so let's look here. And we were, looking into what like buildings that were available. And this just, it went from a part-time thing to almost like an obsession at some point. It was like the new hobby.
Yeah.
And, but then, as I like to do, I learn from people really well. Like, I'm a hands-on learner. So there would be questions we would have. And it was like, we weren't trying to like throw it all out. I love my beer industry, but we're a bunch of clucking hens.
Yeah.
The rumor mill and all the gossip, and then things get out of control, and nobody knows what's going on, and half of it's half true, and the rest of it is just wildly inaccurate.
And us beer nerds don't help it any.
Yeah, so we were trying to keep out of the speculation. So I actually reached out to Grayson one day because there were some questions I had about like certain parts of operation as far as like running the business, like the number side of things. And Grayson, who owns Crazy Gnome, he's one of the best friends I've made out here, and he was a CPA, and he'd been kind of running all the entire business stuff at Crazy Gnome by himself. So I knew he was like a good resource.
Good with numbers too, and
yeah. We always saw eye to eye on that.
Yeah,
nice. So I just had him. I met up with him one day at Yazoo, and I was like, I'm buying your beers, and you're going to find out in a minute why. And because I had questions, it wasn't just a social call.
He's earning those beers that day.
Yeah. Like I can't pay you in money, but I can buy you some beers. But and so he was really helpful. He gave me some numbers of some phone numbers of people. One of them was like the fellow that helped him find the spot that's his first spot to rent and all that stuff. And that guy understood like what breweries needed and things, and he gave me some other helpful advice on things to look at and things to be careful about or whatever. And as we were like packing up to leave, he was just like, just kind of half joking. He was like, for like this much money, I'm trying to sell out my lease at Crazy Gnome. And I was like, well, yeah, but it's like kind of small over there, and like we're gonna have a whole kitchen program. Like we weren't even thinking about a trailer or anything.
Yeah.
And so like a week or so later, Mike and I were sitting down and having a little meeting, going over business plan stuff, and being like, all right, like we're moving ahead, Yeah. And I mentioned to him, I was like, oh yeah, Grayson, like, Grayson here. Oh, here's all the stuff I talked to Grayson about. He was also like, we could buy a Crazy Gnome, but like we'd have to build a kitchen out in there somewhere. And where the hell do you build a kitchen in there to do barbecue? Yeah. Mike was like, yeah, it's kind of small, but I work on Brave Idiot. Like I could do it out of a truck. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if that's what we want. Like, it's not what we were just like, we kind of had the blinders on.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
And then next morning I was driving into work, and when I was at Tenfold, and I was like, the radio in my car has been broken for a couple years. And so I'm just alone it's just me and my thoughts in the car, which is usually bad.
Okay.
And so I was just mulling it over. I'd walked my dog earlier that morning. I was mulling it over a little bit there, and it just continued. And I was like, man, actually, the spot's good. We're buying his lease. We get his lease. The equipment's there. It's already built out. Cheaper than what we're talking about spending. Over and over and over and over. And then I got in, and Mike was already there, and I was like, all right, don't hate me, but what if? And the more we talked about it, the more it made sense. Especially like when I would hang it if I was going out, like it's in with a 1 block radius of this place.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A 1 to 2 block radius of here. Like this is the area we hung out in. Mike worked on Brave Idiot right behind No Quarter. all the homies were, between No Quarter, Hubba Hubba, Smith and Lance.
And then you got Aaron right next door, Main Street.
Yeah, like
homies everywhere.
And, when Crazy Gnome was here, it was just like, this is where if I was going to be hanging out, it was going to probably be within this area anyway. So it's like, we like the spot, we like the area, we know the area, we know a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And so it was like, all right, let's shift focus and let's talk to Grayson, let's shift focus. And then we went from there. And the more we talked to him, the more we came up with some plans of, how to make the spot more, bring eyes to it.
Yeah.
It was kind of hidden before. So we're like, well, we got to build a fence and paint a logo on the outside of the wall and do all these things. And then park the food trailer outside because that's going to be the biggest advertising sign we have,
True.
So that's kind of how it all, and then it all just snowballed from there. Then we started collecting equipment, like picking up equipment on a secondhand market, which we kind of cleaned up on.
Yeah.
Mike and I both have decent amounts of garage space.
Nice.
So like for a while,
you could buy and hold, right?
For a while, neither of us had any garage space. Like that walk-in cooler over there, it was in panels in my garage. It took up about a quarter of my garage.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Just in panels and stuff. And it was just like, well, this is what life is for right now, I guess, but we knew, but from our experience in the industry, we knew what was going to be here, what we were going to need to pick up, the way that we wanted to do it, the way we wanted to do it a little differently than how Grayson did it. It was, it was like everything is a process, but we're like, this makes the most sense for what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
So
hell yeah.
that was a really, really long answer. I think you guys might need a bit.
I love it.
I'm assuming with all the garage space taken up, the reality is setting more and more in by that time.
Yeah.
Just, man.
Honestly, it wasn't actually until we emptied the garage that it was like, like when we first got everything out of my garage and I was like, whoa, I got so used to everything being in here. Just like, it wasn't, it was like until we actually like were moving in here and like it wasn't until like towards the end of one of the soft opens that it like really hit me. I was like, fuck, we actually did it.
Yeah.
And like that's when it really became real, because up until that point, even when we were here doing the build out and stuff, it was like it was still all just an idea, and it was like first soft open, there was a point, I was running around busting glasses.
Dude, you were holding beer glasses. And, you were running. You were rocking it that night. Though. And you were doing really good, man.
Yeah, there's a point I went to grab something out of the brewery area because that's where the office and stuff is, and I was back there and I was just like, like it just hit, like it just like that wave washed over me. I was like, we just did it. Like we just did this. Holy moly.
Man,
so
such a fun opportunity, dude.
Yeah,
such good times.
So this here, moving on to beer, the important part of this interview.
Yeah,
this is premium. This is our hazy IPA. It's a lot of wheat, a lot of oats, and hops are just Citra and Motueka. So you get that nice grapefruit character from the Citra, grapefruit, orange, citrusy character from Citra. Yeah. And then Motueka from my palate, brings in a lot of like papaya and lime in it. And if you've known me if anyone that knows me for a long enough time knows that limes are one of my favorite fruits. So you put some lime character in there, and I'm there 100%.
This is I feel like I say this about every beer, but this is one of my favorites that you make. I said that about the dark ale.
Yeah.
And then obviously the first one we had, I think
the
original. Yeah. It's just like, that'd be great for lawnmower. I'm taking a different approach today because I love all of the beers that I've had from you. I'm trying to figure out what situation I would drink this beer in.
Yeah.
So like, lawn mowing beer, having barbecue beer or whatever. It's like, this is a Saturday afternoon beer for me.
I think
I'm just hanging around the house.
This is a good start to, if you're going to be drinking a couple beers, I think this is a good place to start.
Yeah.
Or if you're going to drink a beer before your food comes.
Yep.
That citrusy character, that grapefruit, that lime, that little bit of papaya, like that fruitiness of it for me, like it like gets me ready. It gets me like ready to start eating some like, some barbecue with some like vinegar sauces and mustard sauce and like,
yum.
Like it kind of entices your palate. It gets you ready for something, and then you get your barbecue, and then you're like, okay, like I'm gonna do a classic while I eat, and then I'm gonna finish with either or a classic or a signature while I eat, and then I'm gonna finish with either one of these or the West Coast that we're gonna try in a minute, or it's like for me this is like the appetizer to the rest of the drinking experience.
And they had I'm thinking this is a little bit higher on the ABV side compared to the first two that we have. Not a lot higher, but a little bit higher. But
we're at 6.
Okay,
yeah,
that's not too bad then.
So it's still easy.
Yeah, still easy to drink. And we've been through the hop profile on this one. Been through the flavor profiles, like what you're going for in a hazy IPA, though. What was this just like, oh, I need to have a hazy because I'm going to open, this is what I'm going to do, or did you have something specifically in mind for
I had this beer specifically in mind. Citra and Motueka are two of my favorite hops. I think they lend themselves really well to the hazy style.
Yep.
And yeah, like hazy, like there's a big market out there for hazy IPAs, but I also, I mean, there's a lot of people, a lot of kind of like the old head brewers that are like, hazy IPAs, blah, 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 which is fine. Like, people are entitled to their opinions, but like I think it's a great style, and it's a fun style too, because like, as we see in contrast with the West Coast, like there's no bittering hops in any of this.
Right.
I mean, you get some of that, like you get some. It will taste like there is some bitterness there from carbonation and from like just sitting on the vegetal matter of hops, as far as like the dry hops and stuff go.
Yeah.
But it's not like they're like, I don't put hops in there until we've cooled the whirlpool down. So it's like the latest edition hops and then all dry hops on this. And that's what I love about hops, is hop flavor and aroma.
Mm-hmm.
So a style like this speaks to me very well, because it's like, it's all about the hop flavor and aroma.
Yeah.
And so I love them, and I wanted to have one, and it's one of them that I crush a lot, you know, when I'm done.
Yep.
A lot of times it's my first beer or my second beer here. And people, again, there's also not everything is altruistic. Like, people buy them.
Yeah.
So that's another important part of it.
And the name premium for something like this, why? Like, I get classic, I get original, stuff like that. Where's premium come from?
So
For
if you
hazy
look a lot, like, well, one, I think it is a premium. It's smooth. It's like, it's a, you know, that you get that mouthfeel from the oats, so it's smooth. It's easy. It's like, but if you look at a lot of like old beer advertisements and stuff, they'll be like, you know, like Stroh's premium lager, you know,
that's
you
right.
know,
Yeah.
Schlitz premium beer, or you know, like so those. And as far as that dad fridge thing go, when we were coming up with the brand, like we had the names of what the 5 core beers were going to be before we knew where those names were going to go.
Like which beer to assign to the name.
Yeah, an original seemed, it was like, oh, original for our crushable lager. Yeah. Classic ESB, that makes sense. Reserve, the West Coast, like that's higher up in the ABV, you know. So like Reserve made sense for that. Signature, I went through, like that is my signature recipe. And so it was like, and it was like premium, like I feel like that fits a hazy IPA.
Okay.
It's like it's a premium product, it's premium beer.
Yeah.
You know, it's chef's kiss.
It is
super
good.
flavorful.
Super.
Citra, and what was the other one?
Motueka.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I feel like most hazies today, like, almost have to have Citra hops in them. Like
basically every
it's a New England,
almost every IPA has Citra in them.
Yeah.
They
not a cheap hop to work with either. Like,
No.
I think.
No, I mean, in the, you know, over the years, it's because like as hops become more popular,
It's become
you
popular.
you see more acreage grown and things like that. So you do see some like prices leveling out. At times,
For sure.
I mean, it's not the cheapest hop, obviously, but it's doable. You know, it's within the budget, and it should be. If you're opening a brewery, it should be in the budget.
Yeah.
'Cause not only do I love it, but other people will love it too.
We'll pay for it.
Yeah.
We'll keep buying it. Yeah.
Right.
We got one more here.
Yeah. So this is the Reserve.
Thank you.
This is our West Coast style IPA, which I always love brewing West. I always love West Coast IPAs. I've brewed West Coast. I've tried to brew West Coast IPAs at every brewery I've been at. For a while, people were not, at least in this market too, like it kind of had a fallen off because the IPA style kind of gets rebranded and redefined a lot. So that's all of a sudden you have all these different sects of IPAs instead of just what used to be just an American IPA. But the West Coast is a special place in my heart because like I cut my teeth on beer and beer culture and beer community and stuff while I was living out in Oakland. And they're, you know, Oakland, California, the you know, Bay Area, California, 45 minutes from places like Russian River and Lagunitas.
Yeah.
A bunch of hard hitters that are making a lot of really, really great hoppy beers. You know, not too far from, you know, like 8 hours from like San Diego, where, you know, that, you know, like the West Coast IPA was between Northern and Southern California. Like that's what defined the West Coast IPA, were what the brewers out there were doing. So it's always held a special place in my heart, and I think it absolutely belongs in a lineup on every brewery. And we see lately now, I see a lot of people coming in being like, and I had this at Tenfold too. They were like, "Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you guys do a West Coast IPA. Like,
nice.
Like that's what I want. I want to drink a West Coast IPA. Like, I want that pine and that like little bit of resininess. So classic Yakima Valley hops, Citra again, Simcoe, Centennial, Idaho 7. So it's got that grapefruit forward. It's got some of that pine, some of that resin, just enough bitterness to balance out. It's a pretty dry beer. Like we went new school on the grain bill. I like my IPAs to be dry because I want the hops to speak.
Yep.
Like, and you're going to use so many hops anyway. There's not a lot of malt character that's going to come through.
Mm-hmm.
And I just really don't like those old school IPAs with crystal malts were not mine. I don't really like those crystal malts that much in an IPA. Just too much. I don't want sweetness. I want, again, that hop flavor, that hop aroma.
Yeah.
So just enough bitterness to balance out. There's going to be a little bit of there's like a little sweetness from, again, malt's just going to provide some unfermentable sugars no matter how well you mash, but there's also like a little bit of that sweetness from the ethanol because we're up on like 7% on this one. And so just enough bitterness to balance out that. And then, yeah, you got that, it's like drinking a pine forest, a fresh pine forest.
Heck yeah. This is, again, I would have this out on the porch as well with the other lighter options. This is, I love West Coast. It's always such a banger.
It hits a lot smoother than it should. Like it can be dangerous. It can be easy to drink when it's pretty quick.
I was going to mention something similar to that. I love a good West Coast IPA that just doesn't peel my face off.
Yeah. I don't want like the enamel coming off my teeth because there's so many IBU. I remember the race for IBUs a long time ago.
Oh, it was happening. I mean, it was 5-6 years ago. Nashville was doing it.
Yeah,
they had some breweries were advertising. Not that I think you could taste it, but 200 IBU like West Coast IPAs. Like that's not even, that can't even be a thing. Like
it's not. I mean, for me, it's not pleasant.
Yeah. So, do you know the IBU number on this one by chance?
IBUs are a fake number, and they do not matter.
IBUs are a fake
but they're
number,
international.
And they don't matter.
Well, and I mean that in a way that like
there's no standard.
There's measured. Well, no, there's like measured IBUs.
Yeah.
And, with the recipe programs that you have they do what they do. I mean, it's not like super accurate on those. And then you send it to, if you send stuff to a lab and they can give you like what the actual measured IBUs are on a beer, but then perceivable is a lot different. And all it stands to do is people who know what an IBU is, they'll come in like, that beer's gonna be real bitter. I don't want it. And it's like, well, it could be like a Russian Imperial Stout, and Russian Imperial Stouts are well over 100 IBUs measured because you need that extra bitter. It's that bitter balance of bitter and sweet.
Okay.
It's balance, and it doesn't really. It's not a number that gives you enough information.
It doesn't define the style of beer either.
It could put people off when they don't understand it.
Exactly. So it's just like it's more about the style. Like if you know what a West Coast IPA is, you're like, okay, it's going to be a little bit bitter, or it's going to, it's going to have more of a bitter punch to it. I always go on the lower end of the style for bitterness. That's just my preference. I have a pretty low threshold for things like bitterness and salt. Like if I say something salty, I'm like, I'm going to say this is salty, but this food is salty, but I bet it tastes normal to everybody else kind of thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I'd like to go on that little bit on the lower end for the style on bitterness. Cause again, I like you, I don't want to feel like it's changing the, DNA in my body because there's so many hops in it or whatever. Like, so let's save that hop money for the back end. Let's throw it all into the whirlpool. Let's throw it all into the dry hop. Let's just like punch it. You know, let's punch that aroma, punch that flavor.
Hell yeah.
I love that,
dude.
All good beers.
That's a really good West Coast. That was awesome. Thank you for having us.
You guys are killing it, man. Thank you so much for inviting us in.
Man. I'm so glad that you guys could come.
Yeah, I just know about reaching out to Chad. Like immediately, we're going to have open arms from Stoke Haus and the folks here.
Yeah. Always.
Well, I told you guys you would get the first. You would get the first one.
I love it. Thank you so much. I think the plan is turn the mics off, break down, and then maybe get some barbecue.
Sounds like a plan. Yeah,
that's the plan, man.
Yeah, dogs. Let's do it. Yeah, Barbie. It's a good plan.
Yeah, it's a great plan. Chad, thank you to Chad and all the folks at Stoke Haus Brewing here in Nashville, Tennessee. 480
Stoke Haus Brewing and barbecue.
480 West
948 Main Street.
I got to be in
East
math.
Nashville.
I'm not good at numbers.
It is attached to the Main Street Liquors building. It's in between Main Street Liquors and the Gym 5 building, just right around the corner from places like No Quarter, Honey Tree, and Smith & Lentz. Some of our favorite places to hang out in East Nashville.
Hell
That's
yeah.
great. we'll see you guys next time.
Cheers.
Later,
Cheers.
y'all. Un momento.